see another one coming in now from, I guess, Keith Jackson, saying in dissent issued first Supreme Court opinion. New Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson issued her first Supreme Court opinion. Yeah, you can imagine. Monday, a short, probably Boulet's length, but you know what I'm saying? Short dissent of support of the death row inmate in Ohio. And guess who he is? You know, I'm not reading that. You know what I'm saying? Because she should do it for black people. You black idiot. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the outcome of the midterm, don't expect the Republicans to return to normal. I wouldn't either. And I'm not going to return to normal. I'm going to stay on my pad and make sure that any abnormal shit that we see, we're going to stay grinding and shining. Just because Kathy House won the seat don't mean that we have to let her get away with every bulletin crime that Biden and the creep Joe administration did during 2020 that brought down the heat on the police officers and many other people to do this and do that. And then when they did it, now everybody's falling like flies. But, you know what I'm saying, we see the bullshit that they do. So we're not going to let up off of that. Every move that these demon Democrats make and politicians make, whether they're both on both sides or another, we must keep a close eye and scrutiny as a watchdog to every move. If they spit, we want to know. If they shit, we want to know. If they into conspiracy shit, we want to know. If they doing some bullshit that gonna come down and cause on the people like what we see went on with Ukraine and the Russia and NATO and all this bullshit and Kim Jong-il and the rest of these clowns in China and all these wicked beasts doing this dumb shit, we want to know everything that they do it. We don't have time to play and we don't have time to see. The fight has just begun. Let's stay on it strong. Lee Zeldin is a congressman and he needs to pick up his pace in Congress and bring more fight to the game. We want to see better things coming out of him for the people and the prosperity of the people, but we also want you back on the ballot again when it's time for election again for the governor. See, you know what I'm saying? The big announcement, Donald Trump holds back decision on 2024 presidential run. Well, he can hold back whatever he wants. We ain't got time to sit here lollygagging. These companies claim to support abortion rights. They are backing anti-abortion Republicans. Yeah, imagine that. And what you backing? Anti-abortion tricks. Justice Department to monitor voting rights across 24 states. Imagine that crooked ass Merrick Garland and the rest of them. What's his name? Something Marquez and these clowns and shit. We depend on them to make sure voting rights. Yeah, you gonna make sure that every foreigner that comes over that border gonna vote for y'all clown asses. That's probably what you're up to. Nobody wants to hear that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what y'all call voting rights. Letting anybody's creep up in our election by the hundreds of millions and outvote the American people as if you're doing what we call what did that guy call it? A replacement. You know what I'm saying? You know, when we really look at it. You know what I'm saying? You trying to replace our country with all these foreigners and wash out the American people down into the tubers. But we're not going to allow that on the American people. You know what I'm saying? So we have to start looking at these things from a better light. We see a federal judge against rules parts of New York. Rules parts of New York. A federal judge, again, rules parts of New York state gun laws unconstitutional. So we see, you know what I'm saying? And which I think it is. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the rule of war on every single border and all four corners of the world. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A ship refused to leave Italy port until all migrants are off. See how they're moving all these people around the world and everybody's shipping and migrating and all that? You see how they're doing that? We see Twitter fact checks Biden's gas prices claim. And who gives a fuck, because we know he the one caused the gas prices to go up. We know he the one that caused inflation. We know he the one caused every single crisis that went on in 2020. And I mean everyone. We don't have to call no name because we know people are lining up. You know what I'm saying? So we know he caused a lot of this bullshit. All that shit was caused by him, by Biden, Anthony Fauci, the creeping weasel, Soros, and Bill Gates, the mother idiot. You know what I'm saying? That called himself rich enough to be able to influence, fund, and also have his organizations all up in our shit that's calling shots for us. We must now be more wiser than that. We see Rick Scott say he will accept midterms results absolutely if the election is free and fair. You know, and I agree with Rick Scott 100% because he never been to me free nor fair. You know what I'm saying? Entirely new category. Trump makes striking combo claim over two Mar-a-Lago documents. Former Trump claimed there are two documents seized from his Mar-a-Lago resort that are both personal and protected by executive privilege. So we see. You know what I mean? And you need to respect that if that is true. Now we see another one coming from the New York Times, I guess, or New York. It says bulletproof vests banned in New York State for civilians. Yep, so that means you can't get no bulletproof vest. You know what I'm saying? But now we see another one coming up from the state of New York. You know what I'm saying? 3 days ago. We see creepy new 5G public internet towers, 5G creepy internet towers installed in New York City. 5 creepy 5G poles, creepy new 5G public internet towers installed in New York. Those are not just internet towers. Those are more than that when you look at it. They could say what they want, but we must keep our eye on that. Biden puts a finger in his ear as recession alarm bells ring everywhere. Of course, he don't give a flying fuck because he the one that caused it by using this technique that we just saw went by. Once that was implemented, you know what I'm saying, we saw what was happening when it came to people having to, stay home and have a vacation and can't go nowhere. We saw stores and different things and everything on a shutdown level on the vacation. And you know what I'm saying, and this was all caused to be by this routine that made all this fall into play. And now he's sitting up there talking about a recession while the recession alarm is building because you created it. The recession isn't a natural cause, it's a created cause of some wicked coup that wants to disrupt our country and probably disenfranchise American people because they sold you out to foreigners. And that was done years ago. You know what I'm saying? But now we look at another one coming in here from the public, or the Huff Post, with this cockeyed mania looking Jim Kimball, or whatever his name, looked like a cockeyed freak if you ask me. Very weird looking, retarded, long-headed individual. Look like he has a great mental institution, but he do look like a cockeyed freak. You know what I'm saying? He's saying the emperor has no brain, just as he do, because he ain't got none to begin with. If you look at the man look retarded. Talk about Jimmy. Yeah, Jim Bronsky. You know what I'm saying? Spot has no brain. Jim Kendall spots most baffling part of new Trump's audio, and nobody give a flying fuck. And anybody that be listening to this talk show host cockeyed freak, you gotta be out your fucking mind. He gonna drive you out your fucking mind listening to that cockeyed freak. You know what I'm saying? Disaster and piece of evidence. George Conway predicts Trump's meltdown to the end. All meltdown. Nobody want to hear that flying fuck. We trying to get our country straight and make sure that the American people get what belongs to them and not be taken away by you selling us out to every foreigner this side of the world. You know what I'm saying? creep Joe Biden promises no more drilling 2 days before crucial midterm election. Imagine that. Or they'll promise you everything, even a lollipop stick. You know what I'm saying? If you believe that bullshit they running, we're talking about he created inflation. Yes, he did. He created inflation, high prices, and every fucking thing you see going on that is crisis in our country, including war on every single ground they can find. A former student of Ron DeSantis said he was hostile to her because she was black and would play devil's advocate, you know what I'm saying, about the Civil War. Nobody give a flying fuck. Be honest with you. The Civil War was a disaster, a murdering, bloody, killing, raping, murder, every garbage shit you could think of was done to black people. You know what I'm saying? Ron DeSantis should know that shit. Don't act as if just because you won that seat, it's comfortable for you as a Republican and think that you're going to just ride the train also. You know what I'm saying? But no matter what the allegations may be, we really don't care. Because black people should know what's going on by now, and just blaming Ron DeSantis for anything is not solving a goddamn thing. Black people, because I bet you the same person said that probably vote demon Democrat anyway. You working for Soros, ain't you? We see here now, we see Palmer Luckey. Listen to his name. Palmer Luckey made a VR headset that kills the users if they die in the game. Yeah, like his fucking brain. Retarded. You know what I'm saying? Campaigner for Charlie Christ engaged Republicans claiming that they're manipulating voters by using the term inflation. No, they're not, because you created it. The demon Democrats created it. They created it. Charlie Christ ain't got no room to say nothing. Charlie Christ is lying in more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? But we see ops. We see Governor Hoxel, you know what I'm saying, not case behind, hiding budget report violation state laws. Imagine that. We see a mandate public report that outlines the state current financial health has taken a backseat to the governor's outgoing campaign tour. The mid-year budget update isn't merely important, it's required by law. It's not merely important, it's required by law. With a possible recession looming, New York will likely face serious budget challenges for this year. The billions of dollars in assistance sent from the federal government will not be pouring into New York State like it did in 2022. New York bloated, record-breaking, 220 billion budgets is already problematic enough to taxpayers, so ensuring every dollar is being used efficiently and effectively is absolutely critical. And she hiding the budget. Imagine that, yeah, because she probably used it to get they probably done stole all that money anyway. We don't never see none of that money, 400 billion here, 900 billion there. They send it to everybody else, Ukraine wars and everybody else, but we never see the money. But the debt ceiling remains blown the roof off the motherfucker wide open till it might even be so-called a crisis alleged to their story. Buses from the border, New York's strained by migrants caught in a broken system. No, it is not a broken system. No, it is not. It's a Biden, creepy Joe, demon Democrat, broken fucking schematical piece of garbage that they've been doing for years. If I show you what the government was doing in Mexico for years and these different foreign countries, including Africa, it'll make you puke. All demon democratical. secret society, Luciferian work. Billionaire Barry Driller say there is something quite odd in Mark Zuckerberg dumbass decisions to turn Facebook into Meta. No, it is not. He's right on line with their scheme. You know what I'm saying? A judge just ruled that there is ample evidence of conspiracy between Rudy Giuliani and the President of the United States campaigning in Georgia. Yeah, like y'all cheating ass in the whole